Remember that time that you were shopping online and you found that shiny new object that you just had to have right then and there? You added it to your shopping cart, and just as you were taking out the credit card, something in the back of your mind just completely put the brakes on the whole situation and you ended up doing nothing. Well, that's what scientists call the loss aversion system. And it turns out we're all pre-programmed to try to avoid losses, especially our money when we're shopping. And what's worse is it actually magnifies over time based on the number of negative experiences or disappointments you have when you've purchased something and it didn't turn out the way you want. I like to call this the remember that time concept. And for me, I remember that time when I was so excited about a product called the Slap Chop that they were advertising on TV. Someone bought it for me, and the promise was you could put your vegetables in a little plastic cylinder and tap on the top and it would take care of all of the chopping for you, basically cutting down your kitchen time. Well, instead of chopping, it turns out it did a much better job of smushing and muddling the food, basically making it completely unusable. So for me, every time I see a product on TV on an infomercial with that little red as seen on TV logo, my loss aversion system kicks in, basically telling me to put on the brakes and not buy that product or service. So how we can use this as marketers is that we have to understand that if we're selling a product for $100, our job is not to convince the prospect that it's worth $100, an even trade. Because a loss aversion system will basically tell us to do the default thing, which is nothing, right? Protect us from the risk. So if we're selling something for $100, we instead need to prove or convey that it's actually worth $3 or $4 or even $500 of value, basically overriding the loss aversion system. Sure, the idea of losing my hard-earned $100 might be worth it if it's actually worth $500, and whatever that is in terms of value or enjoyment. And so think about how you can design your value propositions to overwrite this, negating speed brake system called the loss aversion system. I'll give you one more example of how this works. I personally don't buy lottery tickets, right? It's $1, you might win $1 million, but typically I've never won, and so I just pretty much, my loss aversion system has trained me to never buy lottery tickets. But every now and then, every couple of years, we all know that everyone's talking about the $160 billion jackpot or whatever it turns out to be, and I see all of those lines snaking around the lottery tickets, and I finally decide to go and buy a lottery ticket. It's because the upside is so big that it actually overrides my loss aversion system. So keep that in mind when you're actually out there selling and designing your marketing. Make sure that your value proposition is so exciting and so sexy that it actually overruns that negating loss aversion system.